Welcome to Niagara College. My name's Tim Bunz. I'm the coordinator for the electrical trades and the electrical techniques program. Here at Niagara College, the electrical techniques program is done in a way that we can get the students to gain some skills to get into the electrical trade. Electrical trade, though, also has a bunch of avenues. So in the electrical techniques program here, we touch on a lot of things. So not only do we touch on doing some residential wiring, some commercial wiring, we also touch on some fire alarm systems, data cabling, job estimating for students that maybe down the road want to be entrepreneurs for themselves. So we teach a little bit of that estimating, blueprint reading. The electrical techniques program also is a one-year certificate program. So there's 2 terms of 14 weeks. And the first term is basically all residential wiring. So we learn some circuits in residential wiring, the 3-way switch, 4-way switches, some lighting, bathroom renovations, kitchen renovations. So we stay in the first term fairly heavy into the residential applications, and then when we get into term 2, which is the following 14 weeks, we get into some more of the commercial wiring. So we get into some AC90 flexible armored cable, conduit, motor control, and that's where we get into a little bit of the fire alarms and the instrumentation. So in this room here, we'll do our electronic theory, our electrical theory, concepts 1, our electronic concepts, and our instrumentation. The concepts 1 starts off with some DC theory on some breadboards with some series circuits and then parallel circuits and series parallel circuits. They work through that and all the mathematical formulas with the electrical. They'll go through all that in here. They'll design their circuits and they'll test them all out, and then they'll go on to other circuits, and they just keep building from a small circuit, and they just work their way up, and it just helps them to understand when they do get into the electrical field how electricity works, and gives them a good understanding of what's expected of them in the field in the future. We're in another one of our labs here at Niagara College. This lab here we use for our installations program. So our installations 1 and installations 2. So installations 1 is the level 1. Again, we stick pretty much completely with residential on the level 1. So again, this is where we get into wiring up our single pole switches, 3-way switches, our kitchen renovations, bathroom renovations, labs. So we go through pretty much anything that a electrician or apprentice would run into doing electrical wiring for residential applications. Getting into level 2, we get into doing some armored cable, AC90, EMT conduit bending. We do some threading for rigid conduit. Work a little bit with PVC conduit, bending and working with that. So it's a pretty good diversity on the stuff that we do that gives our students the skills that they need to gain employment with an electrical contractor. So this is one of our lab workstations that we have here at Niagara College. On one side of the booth here, we use our regular wood studs. The students are able to drill the studs, they mount their boxes, run all their wiring for their circuits for for their single pole and 3-way switches in here. And in their kitchen design and all that kind of stuff is done on this side. So we actually wire everything up, wire up our single pole or 3-way switch, they connect it into the panel, and then when they're done and everything is done, then we actually test it. We actually test everything live here so the students can see that it works, and it's kind of a gratification when the students can turn their circuits on or work their switches and everything seems to work the way it's supposed to. We do here are very, very strong on our health and safety. So our students, one of the biggest things they have to do when they're working on a panel, they have to do their lockout, tagout, and test procedures. So they'll use a multimeter and they'll test that out, and they'll go into the panel to make sure the panel is shut off. They'll go in and they'll test it with their meters, and when they're done, they lock it out. And it's very, very important that we teach that kind of stuff here so that when they get out on the job site and they start working, that they know the safety procedures they need to follow to keep themselves safe. So we teach all that, especially in level 1. We get right into the health and safety and the safety part of doing the electrical work. Again, they wire everything up and then we test it live. Then when we get into level 2, and in level 2 we get into the armored cable, so then we can fasten our boxes onto our steel studs with our armored cable, so our AC90 or BX cable. And then they'll do their circuits on the steel studs. Gives them a little bit of real application kind of thing for on the job sites when they will run into steel studs and mount boxes on that. Also in the level 2, we have, in the installations part of it, we do the fire alarm systems. So we teach them the fire alarm systems. They actually wire it all up, they run it in, they put all their devices on here, their smoke detectors, heat detectors, pull stations, all that stuff. And then they actually program the panel and they set it all up and they do a walkthrough test on this fire alarm system. And then a little bit further into level 2, then we get into our motor control, and we teach them a little bit of motor control. We get into our stop, starts, forward and reversing, some time delay starting and that kind of thing. So we get a little bit of motor control into it. We have the fire alarm systems and the steel studs. So they get into more of the commercial end in the level 2. Here I have a couple of the trainer boards that was designed here at Niagara College. Some of the staff here seen a need to have something that was directly designed for our electrical techniques program. Here we have just a small training board that helps us with motor control with our stops, starts, forward and reversing for our motor control. It's just part of one more part of the level 2 installations classes. Also in the level 2, we also teach data cabling. So we get into Cat 5, Cat 6, some fiber optic cables. We do a little bit of soldering in there for them for their fiber optic boards and testing them. The data cable is just another offshoot that electricians might get into. We've had some students that were very successful. We're going out and gaining employment with some of the data cabling companies in the area. And they like our students for the fact that they can actually bend some conduit and help them pull in some of the data cabling. So it's just one more offshoot of being an electrician or working in the electrical field is the data cabling. So we do teach them how to put the ends on, how to put it all together and test some data cabling. Thank you for taking the virtual tour here at Niagara College, and I hope to see you soon and to enjoy our programs and get some skill sets that you need to gain employment in the electrical trade.